Welcome to Trends on Thursdays, where I tell you about the trends I discussed with my clients this week. This week I'll talk about Google, Tumblr, memes, and net promoter scores. First up, if you happen to be a big deal, a big enough deal to have a Google Knowledge panel, you should really go claim it. I'm working with several clients that are in the process of claiming theirs, which is the Google version of being verified. This way, you have more control over various links to your personal brand pages, web pages, etc. Information tends to originate from Wikipedia or other industry-related sources, and users rely on them more and more when it comes to quick info. Google, of course, is increasingly interested in keeping you on their own properties, and they're succeeding. According to Search Engine Land, the number of zero-click searches has now reached 50%. A zero-click search is when you find everything in the search engine results page and have to go no further. This should probably be your wake-up call to provide as much info to Google and their various products as possible. While you're at it, it's of course super important to know what comes up when you Google your brand or your name, and I always recommend to have a Google alert out on yourself, your brand, your closest competitors, etc. Next, Tumblr had a price tag of $1.1 billion when it changed hands in 2013. Fast forward 6 years and it was sold again, this time to the owners of WordPress for $3 million. I know, you heard right, billion to million, a price drop of 99.7%. Of course, Tumblr has been in trouble for quite a while and was known for mostly R and X-rated content, what we sometimes call NSFW, not safe for work. All forms of nudity were banned at the end of 2018, and apparently Tumblr cleared out. But with 450 plus registered users, I would argue that WordPress made a sound acquisition of a visual blogging platform at less than a penny a user. Let's see what they do with it. WordPress is already running half the planet's website, and I think they may have some good ideas to keep it cleaner and maybe restart the Tumblr engine. Next, memes as an idea were coined by Richard Dawkins in his book The Selfish Gene, but they've really become a popular thing in the early 2000s as part of internet culture. They changed quickly in popularity and have included Chuck Norris, SpongeBob, Grumpy Cat, and many more. Every once in a while I get a client that wants to use them for their own social media, and why not, right? After all, some popular meme pages on Instagram have millions of followers, like Blank Jerry, for example, has 14 million followers and many of them highly engaged. And depending on your brand voice and who your customer is, it can be a good idea. Newsjacking can be extremely effective if you can jump in between breaking news and everyone looking for experts and pertinent info. Meme jacking is a little bit easier as long as, and this is important, as long as you fully understand the meaning of the meme you're trying to take advantage of. 55% of 13 to 35-year-olds send memes at least once a week and 30% daily. They're mostly aimed to make you smile or to be thought-provoking, and if that fits your brand, go right ahead. One more, let's say your customers would rate their satisfaction on a scale of 1 to 10. If you're wondering what word-of-mouth marketing is all about, pay attention. The Temkin Research Group did a study and the results are highly interesting. If your rating is a 9 or 10, the client is likely to recommend you to others. On average, 3.5 people per satisfied client to be exact. They call those promoters. Now for a rating of 7 or 8, they aren't likely to care one way or the other. Now here's the interesting part. Anything 6 and below means that they will not hire you again and influence others to go elsewhere. Those are called detractors. Now, if your customer satisfaction was a standard bell curve, most of your customers aren't likely to recommend you and are actually working against you, which is why aiming for great customer satisfaction is so important. The Net Promoter Score, NPS, is measured by subtracting the number of detractors from the number of promoters. The higher, the better. The industry with the highest average NPS, interestingly enough, car dealers with an NPS of over 40, followed by streaming services. The worst NPS, like the worst in the history of NPSs, TV and internet service providers. I take that they all just suck. As far as your business, it's super important to have as many promoters as possible, as that is what grows your business. Anyways, that's it for your Trends on Thursdays. As always, share this if you found it useful, and I'll be back next week. Until then, I'm Tobias Wilhelm.